Hey guys, hope everything is going well. Welcome to this live stream. I was gonna have maybe Ziggy come on. I'm not sure if he's gonna come on, but he did ask to come on. Anyways, guys, if you're having trouble hearing me, let me know. I'm trying this new mic out. In regards to today's topic, I wanted to touch base on future pump and dumps by influencers. So, as all of you guys know, first of all, let me get to some of the comments before I get into my topics. All right. This vintage 128, they're trying to pump Star Wars now. I'm not sure how much it's working. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I got a message about that today. BK Sports Cards, you must be watching between two dudes. I mean, slabs. I watch a little bit of them, but once again, I'm blocked on one of the guys' channels. All right. Brendan Ryan says sound is good. Okay, that's great. Yeah. So in regards to these pump and dumps, I've talked about based on my experience following what's going on in the finance industry, particularly penny stocks. They pump and dump penny stocks, right? Yes, South Florida sports cards. Yep, new mic. Yeah, my wife told me I need to get a new mic rather than use my old school green headphones. I saw a few comments about that as well. But yeah, so in the finance world, and that's good to see that the sound is good. So in the finance world, they pump a lot of penny stocks, right? They don't really disclose all of this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what have I seen them pumping in the past? Well, if you look at it, number one, they pumped up a bunch of these cards last year, Fleer 86, for instance, right? There have been many accusations. I've said that PMGs were probably pumped and dumped. F1s probably pumped and dumped, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's just look at some comments down below. Baker Boy, let's pump. Yep, definitely. Let's pump. Charles, what's going on? What up, Rahul? Yep. What up, Charles? Okay, so in regard F1 pump, yeah, F1 pump. So I think I saw one of the influencers posted that one of the sales on Golden auctions, it sold for what? 300 something $1,000. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. Charles just said this. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton Super Refractor PSA 7 sold for 900K. Yes, so something insane. You have to remember the Michael Jordan PSA 10. What's that selling at right now? That's selling what, $230,000 if you believe the comps, right? You think Jeff is getting ready to block you? Yeah, I mean he hasn't blocked me, and I'm not rude to him on his chat. I've done some videos on him. It wasn't trying to hate on him or anything like that. Yeah, that is pretty insane to see the Hamilton Super Refractor selling for that much. You said that the great negotiator called me a troll on his live stream and blocked you. Oh, what did you say, Baker Boy? Did you say something about me? You're pumping hanky panky? Oh yeah, definitely pump that hanky panky, man. I mean that's what's going on in the sports card industry right now. Hanky panky pump and dump just sounds wrong. Yes, if you're thinking in that manner. Regardless, I wanted to ask you guys. Okay, so we see, first of all, a lot of people have made money with these pumps, right? Some of them may have not been pump and dumps, but we've seen that, right? People have messaged me saying that, yeah, there's a bunch of IG guys that are investors that are just riding this to the moon. And basically on eBay, for some of the sales that they've been hammered on, they're just shilling that to protect their own investments. Now, I cannot prove that, so I haven't gone public with the IG channels that were told that we're engaging in this hanky panky. All right, let's look at this other comment here. C&T Collectibles, what's going on? No need to pump Star Wars. Hasn't cooled down in decades. Yeah, there are Star Wars collectibles that have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars as long as they're in pristine condition. But at the same time, those collectibles, they were sold before the pandemic. So what's going on right now? So, anyways, we're looking at Fleer 86, F1. We're looking at a bunch of other these cars that were pumped up, right? So the thing is, a lot of people made money. Yes, there are people that have been underwater. So the thing is, what will these guys go to next? And in my opinion, I believe that if you're in some of these cards that are graded that haven't had that move to the upside, well, guess what? You could actually, potentially make a lot of money. And that's why I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think they're going to pump up next? And I've thought of, some sports related items, some non-sports related items, and I'm going to try to figure out, okay, what are these guys trying to do? And this comment down below. All right, number one sport. Yes, it sounds insane, and it is cricket, right? So I'm looking at, for instance, this sport, by the way, is played around the world, not in the United States. If you look at the history in the US, it was played, I believe, in Philadelphia. This is a British sport. So the British, they basically exported this sport all around the world. For instance, one of the largest places where they play it is India. My parents were born there. I was born here in the US, so I wasn't really into it. Now, that being said, if you look at that place, if you look at parts of Africa, I think it's Zimbabwe, South Africa. And then if you look at, I believe, Jamaica and other parts of the world too, Australia, New Zealand. So now in the sports card investment community or hobby, there is, I think, the baseball card investor dealer. That guy, I believe, is pumping it up, right? No, not pumping it up. Excuse me. That guy is. Let me rephrase that. He's not pumping. He said that he's buying it. Okay, so he's buying that up. And now, and the influencer side, I don't know anybody that is actually interested in cricket. Maybe besides Shay. I think it's Shayway Blogs. I think that's what's his Instagram handle. I've messaged or he's messaged me, and we've had a short conversation. So he's the only guy that I could see. Okay, he's talking about cricket and showing maybe he has some cricket cards. That would be legit. But anyone else, in my opinion, could be pumping. So I think there's an opportunity for those individuals that are buying cricket. You may see the pumpers and influencers may go into slowly into that because no one has gone into it. Because if F1, by the way, is going up like crazy, then what else? Cricket, I believe, has more people, but there's no demand. But okay, let me go into some comments, by the way. Baker Boy, you asked the negotiator, great is a statement. Are you great at what you do? And he blocked me saying trolls are here simply question and you think. I'll give him this. He is great at negotiating, whether people here like him or not. K Mark's cards. Curator guy is pumping Star Wars cards. Another hanky panky. Oh boy. And just because I read most of these comments here doesn't mean I necessarily agree with you or disagree with you. So, I try to understand what people are thinking. So just want to reiterate that. Even the Jeter PSA 10 selling for 600K a base card, not to mention the top left corner of the card is soft. It's the, what is it? The SP 279, that card. So I believe that card, I think, went down to $300,000. Now it's selling for $600,000. That's crazy. BK card sports or BK sports cards, they have to pump the next because once it's out, they overflood the market. The small guy gets left holding the bag. So yeah, in my opinion, if someone is trying to speculate what the influencer are going to pump, you got to get in before they start talking about it. And then they jump on the bandwagon. That's when probably the time to sell. Low hanging fruit cards with low pop counts. Okay. Yeah, I agree. All right, 2 to 3 year bear market for cards is here. Yeah, probably. I mean, the blow off top. I brought on Don last year, and he said that the blow off top was in February, March of last year when I brought him on. And who knows? It could be for 4 or 5 years. I expect the market to bottom out when the U.S. goes through the nasty recession. I don't think the recession's here. Everyone's talking about the recession now, by the way, right? I was talking about recession. People were giving me a lot of crap about it. But now a lot of people are talking about it. I'm like, I think 2 to 3 years from now, 2024 sounds about right. Yield curve is still upward sloping, in my opinion, not investment advice. He's talking cricket a long time. He has a worldwide audience, so he gets folks that do collect that are usually on his regular rollers feed. Are you talking about baseball card collector? Yeah, he's the only guy talking about it. I did buy, I think, some Don Bradman cards. I think he's the best cricket player of all time. I've been trying to eyeball Sachin Tendulkar, one of the second best players out of India. Now, I mentioned that in the live stream with Dakota. Dakota didn't know what the hell I was talking about. C&T Collectibles, I think, was in that chat, and he said, I think, an Australian player. So, yeah, that's one thing. Do you think Sports Card Radio is going after people not because he cares about the hobby, but to eliminate competitors? Well, if you look at Sports Card Radio, they've been going hard at people for a long time, right? I mean, look at their older material. So this is, I mean, now they've been more aggressive. I think they're more aggressive at a time where there's weakness in the market. So I think they pick their spots, right? So, to get the most traction, right? You're not going to be aggressive, when everyone is ultra bullish, in my opinion. But after 6-12 months, after they announce the recession, buy after maybe. I mean, I'm still buying, some cards right now. For instance, I found this is not me pumping. This is just me for a long-term play. But some Willie Mays card, CSG 5, I bought for about $15 shipped. I put it on Instagram. This dude freaking wrapped the card in a freaking napkin. Who the hell wraps a card in a napkin? I know those that follow me on IG have stated that. But yeah. Regarding, you should be more specific. Vintage cricket. I mean, I don't know too much about cricket. I just know the top names: Bradman out of Britain and Sachin Tendulkar. I just know about him because my cousins were crazy about him. John Cash, AIH Sports versus great influencer in a boxing match. Can we see it on pay-per-view? I would buy Laugh Out Loud. I'd rather do a debate with him. Once again, I'm open to having a conversation with them, and I probably wouldn't block commenters, and it would have to be on my channel. I don't block commenters unless they're absolutely and outrageous with their comments. So yeah, number one is cricket. Okay, I think I could see the influencers getting on that bandwagon after they get burned with some of their F1s. Okay. The next thing that I could see them pumping, I believe there's going to be an Elvis, is it a documentary or a movie coming out? So I have, by the way, as a disclosure, I do have, I think, a few Elvis cards, but they're not high graded Elvis cards. But you have to think, okay, what will they go after next? Okay, PMGs, they had that huge run up in February. They had a strong auction on gold. And if you believe the auction, right? Some people say, oh, all these auctions are shilled, right? Whatever you want to think. And then 2 months later, some of these PMGs crashed, I believe, 40-50%. Now, I do believe that those guys that still sold at those high rates probably made money, right? So don't get me wrong about that. Just because it had a terrible auction doesn't mean that, you lost money on that. A sports card trivia based game show would be cool. Yes, indeed. That would definitely be cool. So yeah. So the next thing that I could, like I was saying, is Elvis cards. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think they're going to influence and pump next? Okay, let's read some more comments. K Mark's cards. Do people really want these F1 cards, or do they just like hanky panky money that they're getting from it? Yeah, I think that they definitely like that hanky panky money. And like I said, a well-known influencer, with thousands of subs, he said that there is a lot of shady activity going on the high end, and he was going after some particular individuals as well, right? And in some of his stories. Now, I am probably going to get this individual and ask him. I asked him in the message. He didn't respond to it, but he responded to other items. But this is a conversation I want to ask him, since, he knows more people. He knows the game better than I do. I'm just analyzing just based on my experience following financial markets, right? So, Pepino Man, what's going on? Oh yeah, by the way, I saw your Miguel Cabrera collection. That was pretty nice, man. I didn't know if someone would collect that many Miggy Cabrera cards, but those are really nice. Anyways, you're gonna pump $20 bills and dump them for $50. Good luck, man. Good luck. Baker Boy says they're pumping card holders, aren't they? Could be. Dragon Ball Z, man. I'm hearing some churning about Dragon Ball Z. The art is nice from what I've seen. Yeah, I think my wife has some Funko Pops of Dragon Ball Z. I don't know too much about the cards, by the way. But yeah, yeah, is Dragon Ball Z going to be the next hype? So going back to 2020, 2021, I remember no one was getting in. This was when I started my channel, by the way. This is November of 2020. And I was talking about weird cards because I thought that they would be hyped up, and, you had all this stimulus money. I was buying cards like Simone Biles, Usain Bolt, I bought earlier, Phelps, the swimmer. And the weird thing was, there were cards of Michael Phelps singles going for about what dollars, right? $1 to $2. And at the extreme height, which was March and February, I remember those cards were selling for like 30, $40. And I thought that was insane. I bought a $500 autograph, graded, I think is like a high grade 9.5 BGS, and I think a 10, whatever it was. I was able to take that $500, and within 2-3 months, I went on 4Sharp Corners and I got, I think, 1,372 net. So basically, if looking from a gross perspective, I tripled my money. It was insane. So that's how crazy the market was. So everything was going up. Olympics cards, yeah, Fleer 86 going up like crazy, and everyone got tired of that. So then they focused on to all this crazy stuff. Thought on influencers pumping SGC. I have said that, hey, SGC has been able to churn out cards earlier. Now, a lot of people are on the SGC bandwagon. Now, that being said, I'm looking at all different slabs when I buy cards. Now, I've seen stories that, hey, look, the guy that founded it, trimming this, trimming that. Yeah, I've heard stories like that too. Now, can companies improve over time? Yes, they can. Now, you're not going to get rid of fraud just like that. And speaking of trimming, I saw this on Sports Card Radio the other day. They're talking about trimmers, and I saw some comments that, hey, influencers don't talk about it. I really don't talk about trimming because I'm not the expert when it comes to all of this fraud. I saw Card Porn discuss this, and I would just reference people wanting to learn more about trimming and the hanky panky going on, and just go to those individuals that cover the trimming. So yeah, those are just my thoughts on it. Obviously, it's bad that PSA hasn't been able to detect all of this, but it's tough. But they have a lot of cars coming in, so I guess that's why it's a little easier, uh, getting away with it. All right, let's read some more comments. The obscure seems to be the target for pumpers of the third kind. The SGC slab doesn't sell well. Would still rather have a BGS slab. Yeah, I'm just thinking about, okay, when that next recession hits, Charles says 2 to 3 years maybe would be a good buying opportunity. So if that's the case, I'm looking at, okay, what Brady slabs would I want to have? I did buy a bunch of PSA slabs, right? And I was eventually able to sell, most of them at a good profit. Now, what do I want to buy now? Would I buy PSA slabs? I think I'd probably head for PSA, but I wouldn't mind buying a SGC slab or BGS slab or even a CSG slab. CSG grades pretty tough, right? I've been buying pretty cheap CSG slabs for the long term. You ask this all the time, dude. Where are the hanky panky shirts to be sold? I don't do that, but that's a good one. You asked that again. When is the merch coming out? I have no merch. I don't want to deal with customer service, man. It's all Josh Allen mania. I haven't bought any Josh Allen cards. I should have bought them a couple of years ago. I didn't realize he'd be that good, but you have to remember what I always talk about is the Wonderlic score. His Wonderlic score is pretty high, and he can run. Now, I don't think he's going to be successful at running in the long run, in my opinion. But I still think that he could be a decent in the pocket passer. BK Sports Card says PWCC at the front of that card trimming. Yeah, I've heard stories about them from a couple of years ago, and certain shady individuals that have been accused of doing that hanky panky there. Man Muzo, SGC are the best looking by a mile, but man, they sell horribly. Yeah, they haven't been selling the best. That's why I may just take a shot at just buying some of their Brady cards. Insurance fraud may be a thing with some of these card shops getting robbed. What's your view? Yeah, that could be the case, but wait, hold on a minute. Let me get some water. Okay, so regarding insurance fraud and just fraud in general, remember Karl Marx, and I'll reference again. This is what I got from Sports Card Radio. I can't verify it. They were alleging that Marx residence was robbed a week before the PSA case. I mean, if that isn't shady, tell me what's up. So yeah, you have to remember this industry, an unregulated industry, attracts many people that are doing the hanky panky. And with this going on, I mean, you see stories of a lot of stores getting robbed. They may be legitimate because you have to remember a few years ago, a lot of places were getting robbed, right? And that was during the pandemic. People lost their jobs. So that's what happened, unfortunately. So yeah, there could be instances of that going on, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's look at some other comments. One time says, what's the deal with autographs on photos or memorabilia having fake stickers? Is this something to be concerned about, even if the number is accurate and everything shows up correctly? Well, here's the thing now. If you buy online, eBay is going to have an authentication process for ungraded cards over $250 that goes to CSG. Now they are partnering up with PSA for cards over $2,000. So if you're buying graded cards over a large sum, I think now you have some a way of authenticating that. Now, is PSA going to get everything right? No. But this, I think, will give more confidence. I believe that a lot of the fakes are going to happen probably at the shows because, they could get away with it a little more than they could with PSA authenticating these cards. That's just my opinion. Card Boss, what's going on? I like some of the videos that you've been putting out. Okay, and the comment is, what is your take on influencer card, positive or negative, but not actually putting money in? I don't care about influencers talking about a card that they don't have. The problem that I have is if they are engaging in some sort of fraudulent or what would be considered fraudulent behavior. They're they're being like really, really, really positive, but then on the back end, they are dumping those cards to other people, which in my opinion is fraud. But yeah, not disclosing, and then they're just doing these pump and dumps. And if the FBI is going to do something in the next few years, I believe they are going to start reining in on some of these pump and dumps. They're probably going to look at crypto first, and they're going to go from there. Once again, it's hard uh, trying to get all this information. The reason why it's hard getting all this information is because, number one, you have to make sure that someone snitches on someone. This is what happened in the Mastro case. Someone snitched on Mastro, and he had some wires on him. So, yep, that's just my take. Oh boy, some trash talking. John Williams invested too much in Joshua and will get annihilated. Well, out of all these young quarterbacks, I think Josh Allen needs to stop running as much because he's going to get burned, in my opinion, in the coming years if he does that. I don't think he's going to be able to last. I do believe that he will have a longer and successful career than Lamar Jackson. K Mark's cards. It says Gary Ponzi fans are suddenly silent after the V cards have taken a dump. Yeah. So what was interesting about that? I was basically screaming my head off on the secondary market on eBay, where there was a lot of hanky panky going on, right? And with this hanky panky, right, zero feedback people were just buying up the cards allegedly, right? Which they weren't, right? And if the transaction did go through, what happened, in my opinion, was they knew the seller and then they just worked something out. They just shipped something out to them, but it wasn't that, and they paid them back on the backside. So that is what I think happened, in my opinion. All right. Pepino Man, I only drink graded water bottles. All right. What good stuff with cards these days? All bad stuff, Charles says. I don't think it's all bad stuff. I think that there are some decent deals. And I've told you I've told people that, hey, I'm buying cheap slabs that no one wants because I believe that they will have a sizable return in the coming years. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm going to be looking at. Replacing patches with better looking ones seem to be on the uptick. Yeah, I think that's going to be happening at the shows, in my opinion. All right. BK Sports Cards. I just posted about another card shop that jacked in San Antonio area for $25K. Big uptick I've been following. So yeah, I do follow you on Instagram, and thank you for posting that. Yeah, it's unfortunate that, a lot of people realize that these shops have valuable items, and they're just, unfortunately robbing these mom and pop shops. It's really, really bad. I feel bad for these dudes. I think this insurance, these premiums are going to be going higher over time. Charles, next bull run when Fanatics takes over in a few years. I believe you are correct with that. I've stated that, okay, the next recession, right, 2024, 2025, Fanatics has the licenses around that time frame. And I believe the government is going to pour stimulus in the economy to get the not card market, but just the markets going. And I believe people that are living with family that have jobs, they're just going to blow it on cards. Or people that get UBI, they're just going to blow it on sports cards, in my opinion, just like we saw in 2021 or 2020. Maybe his approach was wrong and it should be enemies of Gary V. I don't have any. I'm not an enemy of Gary V. Baker Boy, he's making this allegation. This is not me. I'm just reading the comment, right? So if anyone says, oh, you're saying this about Card Collector 2. No, I'm just reading the comment. Once again, I have unbiased perspective towards some of these comments, okay? Baker Boy believes Card Collector 2 is buying his followers. His numbers are way up. Yeah, I know Card Letter Dude. I know some people like him, some people don't. He made that allegation. Basically, he was insinuating that Jeff Wilson was buying up Instagram followers, or not Instagram followers, followers on YouTube. Now, I can tell you what I observed during the gold silver days. I saw channels that had 200 subscribers went to 7,000 within a month or two, and there was no viral video. So I thought to myself, that dude was definitely buying up subscribers. Could it be happening? It could. Now on Card Collector 2 has a bunch of young kids coming to his store. So for trade night. So I'll just say that. All right. This one sports card channel, Pac-Man, I think I've heard of it, has 179,000 subs. Is that even possible in the sports card industry? Well, Jeff Wilson has over 100,000 subscribers, right? Some people say that no, he is buying up subs. Most flea market mixtape, most people aren't honest about when they got back into cards. I got back into cards in 2018. I've stated that numerous times. You think Fanatics will leave after it dries up in 4 to 5 years? Well, I believe Fanatics has the licensing for about 2 decades. So I believe they're in it for the long run. So that is what I think is going on. I think Jim Cramer needs to break off from Mad Money and rebrand as Mad Sports Cards. Oh boy. Don't get me started on Jim Cramer. Brandon Ryan says the theory only works if the haters outnumber the fans. Who's your money on? That I don't know. That Jeff guy has been in cards for like a year and a half. People are treating him like some kind of expert. So I believe he got in 2018. Now, I am curious to see how he got that big. I'm not making allegations that he's buying off his subs. Some of the things was that he got into sports cards early on YouTube, and then he built, I believe, a network on Discord and Facebook and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then he created Market Movers. So it could be, that situation going on. All right, let's go through some of these more comments here, or some more comments. K Marks Cards, how are the Jackass cards doing? I don't know how the Jackass cards are doing. What I can tell you is the V Friends, right, that I was talking about earlier, and some commenter mentioned that earlier. I saw that card for about, not card, I saw that box. It went for approximately, 13,000, 15,000, these shill bids, right? Last legitimate sale that I saw a couple days ago was about $5,200 from Canada. There was this one sale, best offer from a zero review seller. And I saw on eBay the offer accepted was $6,000. So if you believe that sale was real, I will need more time to determine whether it was, but I am very cautious of zero review people. The other thing to note, I would not buy a box of these unless I bought it from Fanatics. And here's why. There are people selling these unopened boxes on eBay. I swear I saw one go for about $10. I think one went for about $50. And I think it may have been more in pristine condition. So I believe what scammers are going to do with these VFriend cards and unopened boxes, they're going to sell it like it's a real box because it is a real box, but it's not going to have the contents in it. They're going to have opened. I mean, it's going to be something like the G.I. Joe nonsense that you saw with Pokemon, something around there. And let's go through some more comments. I love podcasts. Pac-Man does a lot on social media. I don't follow Pac-Man, so I can't say. Matt says, or asks, where do you see the next 1 to 3 for modern sports cards? Hold on a minute. I believe modern cards, those individuals that are able to exceed expectations, those guys are going to do the best, in my opinion. BK Sports Cards, Flea Market Mixtape just won the name award. All right. Yeah, that is an interesting name. Jabs family around 115K subs. So Pac-Man at 179K is definitely plausible. I don't know too much about Jabs family. I've heard the name here and there. Man Muzo says Pac-Man breaks insane product I've never heard of. First time I've heard of him was last week through YouTube suggestions. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. John Cash says, my buddy told me most breakers knows what's in the packs they're breaking. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, look at the backyard clowns, right? The Kaboom stuff. Look at the hanky-panky they were engaged with regarding the Kaboom cards. Trevor Lawrence, right? So I think there's a lot of fraud going on in the breakers community, if you want to call that. Very true. There's no college of sports card grading. Self-appointed experts have been around for decades. Steve Grad comes to mind. Thoughts on BBCE? More hanky-panky going on. So, yeah, like I said, I watched that video from Sports Card Radio. I think they were referencing Rattled Pokemon, and there seems to be more hanky-panky with some Fleer 86 stuff going on. So the thing is, he has a lot of confidence, or the industry has a lot of confidence in Mr. Hart. So it is what it is, right? Would I be buying unopened sealed wax authenticated from the BBCE? No, I wouldn't do that, right? I'd rather buy the Fleer 86 card. The other thing to note is Hart, he does authenticate the packs for PSA, to my understanding. Fanatics is actually doing weekly drops and lotteries for products for the general public. So this is something I'm liking from them. So, yeah, I saw that they are putting a product out there. I do believe they came out with this one basketball product the other day. They don't have the licensing, but they were in their street clothes. I think you had Rodman card. There are a lot of guys from the 90s. So you had Rodman, you had Dirk Nowitzki. You didn't have MJ or you didn't have Pippen, but they had guys like BJ Armstrong, Horace Grant. So a lot of the Bulls players were in there, but they're in street clothes. So they're getting back into it. I think $130 a box for, I think, is it the Topps Finest? Someone correct me on that. That's a bit too much, in my opinion. Flea Market Mixtape says, I do like the Bowman University cards, but what? Ryan Miller, what percentage of people do you think are in the hobby for the money alone? Wow, a lot of people came into the hobby, a couple of years ago. And yeah, it was they came in probably at the wrong time when everything was going up like crazy. Some YouTube content creators aren't doing videos. So I would probably say 70% are in it for the money. I am, by the way, as a disclosure, probably investing 70% and then trying to collect for my own PC, or 75%, I would say. All right, Baker Boy. I don't follow breakers. Okay. Well, yeah, I really don't follow breakers either. I mean, I was in an eBay break one time, paid what, 20, $30. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You could do it once in a while, but doing it, to try to get the big card, I don't think is right, or not right. I don't think you could make money off of that. MTG Line was talking about it's just like gambling. All right. Oh yeah, there was a 1 out of 1 wander from a Walgreens hanger box just so they could keep the secondhand market on fire. Yeah, that is definitely true. All right, K Marks cards. What's the best card in my PC? The best card in my personal collection is probably the 2013 Blue Refractor Khabib, and it's numbered out of 188. So it's a very low pop. It's a PSA 10. I know a lot of people aren't into UFC. So, yeah, what are your guys' favorite card, your PC? Now, I got that card all in cost for about 125, 130 bucks, I believe. Now, if I were to send it to Golden, it would be a ridiculous price. Okay. That's just, I have a 220 eBay rating and I shill bid. You should try it, AIH. It's easy. eBay doesn't care. All they care about making 15% on the final sale. Oh yeah. They don't care about this. So a lot of people, they accuse Probstein of shilling, right? But then I was trying to look at the policy of eBay on whether you can block users, right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And the thing is that you cannot block 0 review people from bidding on your auctions. So I'm just looking at it like, wait a second. I can't do that. I mean, you're going to continuously have shill bidding after shill bidding after shill bidding going on. And I saw this on eBay. So I've been talking a lot about this Mahomes card, right? This Patrick Mahomes Optic Hollow PSA 10. The comps were saying 32, 3,100 bucks. I was saying that I don't trust these comps because it takes them a little bit of time to get rid of them, of all these 0 review not bids, but auctions. If they're getting rid of these 0 review bids not in a timely fashion, then these comps, in my opinion, are useless. So that Mahomes Optic Hollow PSA 10 and the Prism were shill bid like crazy. One legit auction that I saw the other day that I posted on IG on my story, that went for approximately 23 or 2,400 bucks. That seemed more legit because the buyers had a high review count. Okay. And that's what I was valuing the card at, because I saw like, look, people with 0 reviews are bidding this up to 2,700 bucks. So the price should be lower, in my opinion. So it's unfortunate that the industry is still using these comps when not looking at the actual bid history. That would be something that these market tools can improve on, but I don't think it would be great. I don't think it'd be feasible for them. Brendan Ryan, retail gold rush. Love it. That retail gold rush, that was in February and March of last year, right? All the content was super, super bullish. I was buying cards, yes, here and there, but I wasn't as bullish as I was earlier. BK Sports, Francisco equals hanky panky. All right. Francisco says, I always make sure the cards I own stay nice at a nice high level. I'm so ashamed. Panky. Tim, Giants fan. I love UFC. Do you like Khamzat? I personally like him. I haven't watched his fights. I do watch from time to time the Nigerian dude. I forgot his name, and I watched some Poirier fights too. Yeah, so that Khabib card is so dope. Yeah, I saw this Octofractor card or whatever it was. It's like population 2. That sold with bidders premium on Golden for $13,000. And I'm sure someone who were to buy it in even 2020, if they got a raw card, it would have been cheap. And now those cards have just gone insane. You know, that card that I have, I don't know what the market value is. The volume is so low. And I think the PSA 10s is like what, 2 or something like that. How many people here have actively been engaging in hanky panky? Oh boy. Probably not in this stream, but I do believe that there are a lot of people in the industry that have done the hanky panky. Junk wax is heating up again. I'm paying attention to the prices. I think Jeff Wilson's app does definitely follow that. Zero Cool Jackass autos are going for more than $200. Who's paying for that stuff? There are short-term flippers who bought that from Fanatics website. Those guys, you know, they've been messaging me, or I've had some conversations with people. Yeah, if they bought in first from Fanatics and they sell it on the secondary market first thing, yeah, they're going to make money. FIFO, right? First in, first out. Are people still weighing out packs at Walmart? There's so many packs at Walmart now. I remember back in the day, you couldn't get anything. I remember trying to get top loaders from Walmart. Couldn't find them. Now you have all sorts of supplies from Ultra Pro that they sell. Don West and Ken Golden wrote the book on pump and dump. Shop at home. It's history important to study. I've heard stuff about Don West. I'm going to get my other friend, Don, and he's going to probably, if I ask him, tell some stories that he called into Don West in the 90s. Masters of the craft. AIH, you're the best, bud. Never change. Thanks, man. All right. Ryan Miller, you know, Panini is getting lazy when many of their jersey cards are not even specified to that athlete. They could be cutting up store-bought jerseys for all we know. Remember, Fanatics has that license, right? So if Fanatics has that license, guess what? I mean, Panini, what they're going to do is they're just going to print and print like crazy, just like the Federal Reserve. They're going to print and print and print because what can they do at this time? They're just going to milk the most amount of money they can, and I don't blame them. So yeah, expect some hanky panky, and they don't give a rat's. I wonder now if Fanatics is going to buy them, because what is Panini going to do in this situation? I think it would make sense though for Topps to buy them out, but not Topps, Fanatics. But Fanatics has Topps, right? You could have football cards with Topps Chrome again, right? Remember those Peyton Manning cards, those rookie cards from '98? You go and watch the old videos for a laugh. Are you talking about what's his name? Don West? It's worth a lot. If you're talking about the Khabib cards or some of these UFC cards. Punts Packs Click. Jackass has a pretty big fan base. Yeah, I remember watching that show, in 1999, 2000, 2001? Back in high school. Yeah, we used to watch it all the time. I mean, my wife even took me to that movie. I can't believe she bought tickets to that. I would have probably seen it with one of my guy friends. But yeah, I was laughing throughout it. They do have a pretty big fan base. Celebrity cards is the next market to be pumped. I know Jay-Z cards, people were chasing after him. But I mean, like, what's next? I mean, what can they pump next? Is it going to be president autographs? Like, I'm just trying to think. Like, everyone has to be on the same side. And I think that there are influencers getting kickbacks to pump this up. But now, like, channels like mine and others just bringing up the topic of pump and dump. Some channels don't want to even talk about it, but if they're getting kickbacks, they will talk about, whatever um, thing that will help the investors that are paying them. So, it is what it is. This market isn't regulated, so I expect there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know. And it would sound crazy once the news comes out. I mean, just remember what happened with the Karl Marx situation. It would seem hanky panky is the glue that binds this hobby. Yeah, it's the hanky panky that binds this hobby. The thing is that individuals in this hobby, they don't want to criticize other people because they have this belief system that if you speak negative about this hobby, it is bad for prices. I don't believe that, because over a year ago, I was trying to I was saying like the similar things, right? But I didn't have views. Now the thing is, I have more subscribers than I did during the height of the market. So what's the difference? A lot of people are just ticked that prices have gone down, and a lot of influencers they followed didn't know that this would come crashing down. If they did know it was crashing down, they were quiet. And I've highlighted that with some of the videos that I did with Ziggy. Punts, pack, pass, click, follow the money. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do, by the way, here. K-Marks cards. What about Hanky Panky? Yes, what about it? John Peace. I remember Don from back in the gold and silver YouTube war circa 2012. Oh, yeah. Don was one of the rational voices during that time. And yeah, I always enjoyed listening to him. But he's also into sports cards. So yeah, I'm going to definitely have him on, and we're going to talk about what we were supposed to talk about a few weeks ago, but he had internet issues, and hopefully it should be resolved by then. This is an interesting comment. Flea market mixtape. I'm on the East Coast. No supplies in Walmarts here. We hustle at a fast pace on the East Coast. Straight cutthroat. That is really strange, because if you just go to distributors, they should have much more product than they had a few years ago. I believe Ultra Pro, that deals with Walmart, they had a lot of supply, or they were working on PPE equipment. And then you had also the supply chain issue. And also, whenever someone had the virus, they had to shut down at that time. But then over time, they came out with better testing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it was easy to manage over time. And now, the pandemic is pretty much over. Not everywhere, but so yeah, I'm surprised you're having trouble on the East Coast getting supplies. Desert Storm cards will be pumped to the moon. So the thing about Desert Storm, so that Chipper Jones card was one of the iconic cards during that time frame. And it's just strange. That card has pretty much gone nowhere. No one really likes Chipper Jones or wants to follow him. People want to go to the next hottest thing. So the new money that's come in has forgotten about all these cards, right? People still buy, don't get me wrong. People remember when I got back in, I was looking at baseball cards because baseball is my favorite sport. And I was looking at the Frank Thomas no name card. That seems really interesting, right? But the new guys in the hobby, or the new investors, they're not chasing all these cards. They're chasing like the hottest thing in basketball, football, etc. So I don't know if that will be pumped, by the way. Can't pump NASCAR. Yep, that's true. It's hard to do that. But F1, you can. Alchemy pays linked to Jay-Z now 2 cents. I snagged a decent amount. K-Marks cards. Anyone pumping Jimmy Carter cut autos? So as a disclosure, I do have a few Jimmy Carter autos, and I just bought a few through my wife's business. And I did because out of all of the presidents out there, living or dead, his autos seemed the cheapest. And so over time, I'm looking at decade, 2 decades, it should go up. Whether people like Jimmy Carter or not, that's not the question. I mean, I'm looking at Nixon. Nixon wasn't well liked, and I'm looking at his autos. Those are what, over $200. So it is what it is, or over $200 PSA slab. GI Joe, let's do this. Yeah, that's right. For sure. Who has GI Joe cards? Jeff Wilson has it. Neo has it. NASCAR is tied to racism lately. Let's see. Rara knows celebrity and historical figures will be pumped, especially dead ones. So what I believe happens, I talked to Don about this in one of my podcasts. He said that buying autos of individuals that are in their 90s that is not talked about, he's put them on eBay for a little above market or above market value, and when they pass away, these card prices or autographs tend to go higher. That's what he noticed, but that is like a one-time event. Then the price gradually goes down. V Friends was a tipping point for me. I think it was a tipping point for a lot of people. And what was the bad part about that was that a lot of these guys in the industry were saying nothing about the secondary auctions on eBay. Some people say, "Oh, I don't care about that. It has nothing to do with me because I'm a collector." But the secondary market, no one's talking about it. They're saying, "Oh, zero review things happen all the time." And then people, rather than talk about the VFriend stuff, they're then talking about, hey, look, shill bidding's bad. Let's bring on Probstein or something like that, right? So that's what eventually happened. And a lot of people are afraid to tick off Fanatics. Unpopular opinion, but Topps Chrome is greater than Optic, and that's greater than Prism. Fanatics' first release are celebrity cards. Luber keeps talking about the celebrity card market. That's what I mean by following money. That's a good point. I think they want to be cheap in the short run about which celebrities they get, but I do believe over time they're going to probably get some good celebrities. I think it could be easy for them to get Jay-Z, for instance, right? Jay-Z, I believe, is an investor in Fanatics. So collectors will hold on to their cards no matter what. Nothing could be pumped except the new product. That is true. Thanks, Flea Market Mixtape. Thanks, Brandon Ryan. Flipping Steve got mad at me at his Tom Hanks rookie card sticker. Why? I know he buys a lot of celebrities, and I think he did buy a Ronald Reagan card the other day. Pumping right now. Camzet Megastar card. Okay. A lot of collectors are starting LLCs and selling repacks boxes of their collections. That's the next thing. Collectors are not wanting to sell on eBay. That may be the case. I mean, the thing is, you have to now deal with cards. They have to go to CSG or PSA if they hit a certain threshold, money-wise. So I could see why people may be starting their own websites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you angered Flipping Steve and are alive to tell the tale, count yourself lucky. So Flipping Steve, I think he did a rant one day. I think it was directed at me and a few others and talking dumps. And I was just basically saying in my videos, and look, this is what happens in the industry, in the finance market. And I'm just looking at, the pattern recognition of what goes on there, and I'm applying to here. Now, people don't look at other markets like I do, but it is what it is. Now, Flipping Steve said that he wouldn't mind coming on, and I said, okay, sure, why not? Maybe in sometime next month or two, if he's willing to come on, I'll bring him, and then we'll talk about this, and we'll talk about some of his maybe personal collection. Jeff must have market movers problems because his videos lately have been more like infomercials for market movers lately. I haven't watched that many of his videos lately, so I can't comment on that. But I could imagine if the market has been going lower, less people are subscribed to market movers or card hedge or card ladder, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Laughing at a Tim Hanks rookie laugh out. He's pretty scary. What are your thoughts on pumping vintage? I have a bunch of Ernie Banks slabs I need to dump. I did buy Ernie Banks autos, but who's buying, Ernie Banks, by the way? I don't know many millennials are buying Ernie Banks. Who I am buying that is alive is Mays, but I don't know if his cars are going to go up. I did notice that I bought a Hank Aaron, PSA 5. It was like a 1972 card. It was worth like $20 from PSA 2019. And now that card is maybe over $60. And yeah, unfortunately he passed away. So I'm not sure if it had to deal with the pandemic because that card went up, or his death, or it could be a combination of both. All right, let's read some more comments. I may go in the next 5-10 minutes. Vintage card collector, what is your guess on the percentage of card auctions that are shilled? So that's a good question. This would be good for the apps to try to figure that question out. What I do look at for shilled auctions, the reviews. And this is why I don't like looking at comps. I don't like looking at comps because it takes them a little bit to get rid of the 0 review auctions, which are most likely shilled. Now, what would be interesting to note is, are these auctions, the big house auctions, we know who they are those auctions shilled where they get record price after record price? Obviously, it attracts the individuals that are, how should I say it, very wealthy, affluent. So those auctions may be legit, but how much are shilled? Remember, Mastro auctions were shilled back in like over a decade ago, right? And now we're in a time where a lot of cards have gone down. So what's being shilled right now? That'd be a good question. Flea market mixtape. Bubba Wallace talks about what's going on in NASCAR. All right. Every serialized card is a eBay 101 with these pumpers. Could be. Celebrity pump. That's what I see. Sugar performance. All right, let's look at some more comments here. Flea market mixtape. Yeah, that, or how impactful it is when someone rains on spending their life savings on their stupid Color Blast John Cena card. The nerve of those logical people. I remember some comments I was seeing when Top Shot was going crazy. Some person legit had a comment asking the YouTuber, should I take my life savings and put it into Top Shot? I kid you not, I saw a comment like that over a year ago, while I was actually saying, hey, watch out for Top Shot. This looks like it's ready, about to dump. I reposted a video a couple of weeks ago regarding Top Shot. You can eliminate majority of pumpers industry by buying raw cards only. Yeah, that's true. Indeed. Celebrity pump equals Flipping Steve. I don't think Flipping Steve is a pumper. I think he's a very passionate guy. eBay must make them pay or die. Laugh out loud. Just joking. Who are the biggest F1 pumpers on YouTube right now? Now, I don't see that many people on YouTube talking about it. The only person that really has talked about it in the past on a consistent basis is She Collects F1. That's what I'll call her. She's the one that constantly talked about it time in and time out. Now, I'm not making accusations that she's getting kickbacks, but it's just strange to see, all this talk over and over and over again. And I don't know who likes F1 like that. I could be wrong, though. There are some F1 fans that do follow me. I should do a video about repacks. Why are they a thing and why do people buy them? Yeah, I'm not too familiar on that. So I don't think that's a video that I'd be doing. But thanks for the suggestion. Joey M. Tom Hanks down. Part of the Disney cult. Yeah, don't get me started on Disney, man. Don't get me started. AIH, I just put in my vacation request for Prism retail release week. What are your thoughts? I have no idea what to tell you about that, man. I think Prism, so Panini, too much supply. So you said Flipping Steve is part of that YouTube ring with Neo SCA, and to extent personal finance debt, I turn them off all except SCA. I watch all of them, right? And I know I've said this before. Some people like me, some people don't like others. I recommend people to watch everybody and follow none. Okay. Prison football, that is alt over market movers. I can't say. Card Infinity is a breaker that takes in collectors LLC products. Collectors are trying to maximize their return on buying hobby boxes. Everyone is getting greedy. When you have easy money by the Federal Reserve, this is what happens. You see more speculation than otherwise would have happened. And a lot of people don't get how the Federal Reserve operates. And a lot of people are going to be underwater and ticked off. There's a woman that's an F1 pumper on YouTube. She's starting to dump her F1 cards now. I think I know who you're talking about. All 90-star rubies and PMGs are pumped, even no-name players. So from a few years ago, I think the Jordan PMGs, those were popular before the pandemic. So, and I think was it green PMG? Someone comment down below. I think that's one of his most coveted cards out there. They're pumping Will Smith rookie cards right now. The time to be buying that was before that slap or punch or whatever. Yeah, once people are starting to show their cards off, I think that may have been time to sell because no one's talking about Will Smith anymore. That was the night that I did that podcast with John, and Don should have been on it, but because of the internet, he could have. He couldn't join that. She collects F1. She pumped and now dumps F1. That's the allegation by Sugar Performance. Okay. All right, let's look at a few more comments, and I got to go in a few minutes. Boxes 15, 20 years ago would have like 20 packs, and the packs would have 10 cards. Now you get 6 packs with 4 cards each. Yeah, the industry is trying to profit big time because they see there's a huge demand in cards. I think you told me this in a comment. You got kicked off Leighton. Oh yeah, wasn't that dude involved in that break the other day or a few weeks ago with Drake? That was a disaster from what I've heard because he talked about she collects F1 pumping and dumping. That's interesting. She collects is a huge pump and dump, never interacts with the audience or comments on any of her video. Now you're alleging that Neo is doing that. Okay. AIH, stop passing by my comments. Did I may have passed by one of your comments. The pumpers are hard to spot. Could be. Probation recently said about 5%, or you mean Probstein? 5% of the auctions aren't paid for. That's up from 2 to 3%. It's a growing problem, but the reality is the vast majority of the auctions are paid, even with all that shill talk. That could be the case. It just ticks me off. I look at Mahomes, I'm looking at quality players, and I see that being shilled. This is a card that I bought for $140. And, constantly shielding the 3000s. Now it's what, 2400. So I think it's good to know if someone's collecting or investing in a card to, if it's being shielded like crazy, wait for an auction and pay an appropriate price, like 2400 bucks for that card if you like it. Oh, accusation that she collects F1 is the great negotiator. Flipping Steve's a groupie? No, I don't think so. All right. F1, modern, WWE, celebrity cards, Disney cards are good for collecting if that's your thing. Not going to rich on these cards. You're going to be disappointed if you think so. I have some Mickey Mouse cards from the 1930s. I think some French cards. Didn't pay too much. I don't know. I just bought it just in case, it was just pumped up like crazy. What is wrong with people in all this chat? All these victims. Yeah, I don't think we have a victim mentality. I think in terms of, personal life versus sports cars, that's different. If you have a victim mentality, then it's going to be tough to get on with life. PMG and Star Rubies were not pumped in baseball or football. Okay. If you go to card shops, then you can see how eBay is used. A bunch of 25-cent cards marked up a few dollars. Could be. I do like some of the cheap cards, though. I don't think a lot of people here are underwater. I could be wrong. I'm a pumper, not a catcher. Man, these comments are interesting, man. Flipping Steve and Jeremy Lee are notorious pumpers and dumpers on YouTube. They're like two used car salesmen. Flipping Steve, no, I don't think he's pumping and dumping, like I've said. Jeremy Lee, I've heard things about him, at a show I think it's at the Mint Collective. I saw some Instagram posts. That's all I'm going to say about that. Is he pumping and dumping? I don't have info on that, to be honest. If an auction has 4 more days left and there are multiple accounts and bids, stay away. No one should be bidding with 6 days left. Yeah, I mean, I try to avoid the hype. I tried to, when I'm looking for cards, I'm trying to look at cards that no one's really looking at. Basketball PMGs exploded in 2011. Upper Deck lost their baseball gig. Thoughts on Jeremy Lee asking someone to return his Jordan refractor after he sold it too low? Laugh out. Yeah, that was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I believe the story was he had someone else selling on behalf of him and he came back and the card was gone and it was mispriced. Yeah, it is what it is. This is a good comment. Laugh out loud for Fuchs' sake. No victim here. Yeah, I don't think we're victims. Brandon Ryan says, Flip and Steve and Jeremy are good people. I don't put it past anyone on YouTube anywhere. Egos are getting out of control. Some egos are definitely out of control, in my opinion. Even vintage is being pumped simply because the cats are grading everything they can. Could be. Flipping thing talks up. I consider him that pumping. Now, if you're enthusiastic, I think it's a little different. But, we can ask him, bro. I don't think he is. Last before I go, canted card, the US dollar with Fleer Ultra Gold medallion. That's a good one. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this live stream. Made my Sunday night. Hope you guys have fun pumping, guys. Just joking. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.